Welcome to my channel Worldwise. I bet you didn't know just how close the world came to the edge on October 27th. Just after midnight, Operation Midnight Hammer. US stealth bombers strike Iran's nuclear facilities. The world wakes to silence and dread. Every capital waits, bracing for Iran's response. US bases across the Middle East are on high alert, defenses ready for retaliation. This isn't the first time Iran has hit back directly. Let's look at 4 moments when Tehran struck the US head-on. January 3, 2020. The world wakes to a date that will soon be etched into the history books. In the quiet hours before dawn, the city of Baghdad hums with its usual tension, unaware that a single event is about to send shockwaves across continents. The air is thick with anticipation, but no one can predict the storm that is about to break. Near Baghdad International Airport, a US drone strike targets a convoy. In a flash of fire and metal, Major General Qassem Soleimani, one of Iran's most powerful and influential military leaders, is killed. Soleimani, revered by many in Iran and feared by adversaries, was the architect of Iran's regional strategy, orchestrating operations from Syria to Lebanon. His sudden death is not just a military blow, it is a seismic political event. Iran's leadership is stunned and the nation erupts in grief and fury. Crowds pour into the streets, mourning their fallen general and demanding justice. The supreme leader vows harsh revenge, and the world braces for what comes next. 5 days later, as the world holds its breath, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps responds. In the dead of night, over a dozen ballistic missiles roar into the sky, their fiery trails arcing toward US military bases in Iraq. The attack is swift, calculated, and unmistakably direct, a message written in fire and steel. Unlike previous confrontations, this strike is not carried out by proxies or shadowy militias. It is Iran itself, acting openly and defiantly, targeting American forces head-on. Military analysts scramble to interpret the implications, while newsrooms around the world buzz with urgent updates. The rules of engagement in the region have changed overnight. The missiles slam into Al-Assad and Erbil airbases, shattering buildings and sending shockwaves through the military installations. Satellite images reveal the extent of the destruction. Hangars reduced to rubble, craters pockmarking the runways, and fires burning through the night. The world watches, transfixed, as the aftermath unfolds in real time. Miraculously, there are no US fatalities, but the cost is still high. More than 100 American troops suffer traumatic brain injuries, a stark reminder that the consequences of modern warfare are not always visible. In hospitals, soldiers recover from wounds both seen and unseen, while families back home anxiously await news. In Tehran, Iranian leaders declare the attack a slap in the face to the United States. Ayatollah Khamenei addresses a sea of supporters, his words echoing through the crowd and across the airwaves. Iranian newspapers trumpet the strike as a moment of national pride, a warning that any escalation will be met with force. For the first time in decades, Iran has openly targeted US forces, shattering the long-standing pattern of indirect conflict. The lines of engagement are redrawn, and both sides are now on high alert. The world watches as military units on both sides brace for further escalation, uncertain of what the next move will be. In capitals around the globe, leaders scramble to de-escalate the crisis. Urgent diplomatic meetings unfold behind closed doors, while newsrooms broadcast the latest developments to a tense and anxious public. For a moment, the world stands on the edge of a wider war, but cooler heads prevail. The immediate crisis passes, but the sense of danger lingers. The events of January 2020 mark a turning point. Iran has shown it will answer force with force, and the United States is forced to reconsider its own strategies. Deterrence is no longer a one-way street. The world has changed, and the shadow of conflict now looms larger than ever. June 2019. The world's attention is fixed on a narrow stretch of water, the Strait of Hormuz, a vital artery for global oil shipments and a flashpoint for international tensions. In the early hours, as the sun rises over the Persian Gulf, a US RQ-4, a Global Hawk drone, a marvel of surveillance technology worth over $200 million, soars high above the waves, gathering intelligence. But beneath the calm surface, a storm is brewing. Suddenly, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, launches a surface-to-air missile. In a flash, the billion-dollar drone is obliterated, its wreckage tumbling toward the sea. The world is stunned. The US military reels from the loss of one of its most advanced unmanned aircraft, while Iran claims a major victory. The two sides immediately clash over the facts. Iran insists the drone violated its airspace, crossing a red line and justifying their response. The United States, however, maintains the aircraft was operating legally, flying over international waters on a routine mission. Maps, radar data, and satellite images are released, each side trying to prove its case to the world. The fallout is immediate and global. Oil prices surge as traders fear the closure of the strait, through which a fifth of the world's oil passes. Stock markets tremble. In military bases across the region, fighter jets are scrambled, and warships are put on high alert. The world holds its breath, bracing for a possible escalation. In Tehran, the mood is triumphant. State television broadcasts images of the drone's shattered remains, parading them as proof of Iran's technological prowess and its determination to defend its borders. Crowds gather in the streets, celebrating what they see as a victory over a powerful adversary. But beneath the celebrations and the rhetoric, the incident is about more than just a downed drone. It's a test of sovereignty, a demonstration of resolve, and a warning to the world about the dangers of miscalculation in a region already on edge. Military leaders on both sides weigh their options, aware that every move is being watched. For a few tense hours, the world stands on the brink. One wrong decision, one misread signal, could have triggered a full-scale war between two powerful nations. The stakes could not be higher and the margin for error is razor-thin. In the end, military strikes are called off at the last minute. The standoff remains unresolved and simmering, a stark reminder of how close the world came to disaster, and how fragile peace can be in the shadow of the billion-dollar drone. 1987, the Iran-Iraq War. The U.S. protects Kuwaiti oil tankers, now flying the American flag. October 16th, Iran fires a Silkworm missile at the MV Isle City, injuring 18, including the American captain. The attack is direct. No proxies, no ambiguity. The U.S. responds with Operation Nimble Archer, shelling and destroying Iranian oil platforms used for military operations. The message is clear. Attacks on U.S. assets will be met with force. The cycle of strike and counterstrike is set. The Gulf becomes a proving ground for resolve. April 1988. The USS Samuel B. Roberts, a U.S. Navy-guided missile frigate, is on patrol in the tense waters of the Persian Gulf. The region is a flashpoint with the Iran-Iraq War raging and oil tankers under constant threat. The Roberts, part of Operation Earnest Will, is tasked with protecting these vital shipping lanes. Suddenly, disaster strikes. The ship hits an Iranian mine, one of many laid in the Gulf's murky depths. The explosion rips through the hull, sending shockwaves through the steel and the crew alike. The blast is devastating. The force of the explosion nearly tears the ship apart, flooding compartments and threatening to sink the Roberts. 10 sailors are wounded, some severely, as chaos erupts on deck. Smoke pours from the damaged vessel while the crew scrambles to save their ship and their shipmates. Against all odds, the sailors' quick thinking and training keep the Roberts afloat. But the attack is a stark reminder of the dangers lurking beneath the surface. In the aftermath, U.S. Navy divers recover fragments of the mine. Investigators work tirelessly, piecing together evidence. Their findings are conclusive. The mine is traced directly back to Iran, a deliberate act of aggression. The incident cannot go unanswered. 4 days later, the United States responds with overwhelming force. Operation Praying Mantis is launched, the largest American naval battle since World War II. U.S. warships and aircraft mobilized, ready for combat. The message is clear. Attacks on American vessels will not be tolerated. The operation is swift and decisive. U.S. forces target Iranian oil platforms used for military operations, reducing them to burning skeletons. In fierce naval engagements, American warships and aircraft destroy or cripple nearly half of Iran's operational navy. Iranian ships are sunk or left burning, and the balance of power in the Gulf shifts dramatically. The U.S. Navy's dominance is undeniable. Warships patrol the Gulf with missiles at the ready, and command centers buzz with tension. Yet, even as American power is asserted, the risks of escalation loom large. Each decision is weighed carefully as the world watches and wonders how far the conflict might spiral. The cycle of attack and retaliation intensifies. Each strike and counterstrike raises the stakes, threatening to draw more nations into the conflict. The Persian Gulf becomes a chessboard of military might, with every move carrying the potential for wider war. As the smoke clears and the waters settle, the echoes of confrontation linger over the Gulf. The events of April 1988 serve as a stark reminder of the region's volatility, and the ever-present risk that a single spark can ignite a much larger fire. From the 1980s to today, Iran has shown it will strike back when threatened. Each confrontation is a calculated risk, a message to Washington. Iran won't be cowed. US responses are powerful, but Iran's red lines are real. Operation Midnight Hammer would almost certainly provoke a direct Iranian response. In this region, every action has a reaction. The past is prologue. What do you think? Reckless provocation or necessary defense? Let us know below and subscribe for more worldwide analysis. And don't miss my next video. Watching now.